Hello everyone, this is Ambali Bhattacharya Datta from M by Ambali Art Cafe, and here I am again with another tutorial from my portrait tutorial series. Today our subject is how to paint eye with watercolor. Though it may sound a bit cliche, but we all know that our eyes are the mirror of our soul. We humans express a lot of our emotions with eyes, and probably this is the reason that makes the eye painting very interesting and challenging at the same time. When we paint the eye, our prime focus should be always to capture the emotions, the expressions, the mood reflecting from it. Eyes are the most important facial element in a portrait painting. When people compliment the portrait saying as if it is going to speak, it is mostly because of the emotion and expression captured in the eye painting. A great eye painting can completely transform a portrait in so many ways, and a not so good one can end up making the portrait look dead and dull. So let's get started. Don't forget to subscribe my channel for more upcoming tutorials. I'm soon going to start watercolors for beginner, as I'm getting a lot of requests from all of you. So don't forget to press the bell buttons to get the notifications. Thank you so much for your love. Well, coming back to the topic, I am going to have a fast track and more of impressionistic approach, and for that I am going to use a bigger brush with a big fat bristle, that is Escoda number 18, and it will help me to control my strokes. We need to remember, if you are a hyper realistic painter or if you are an impressionistic one, in both cases our fundamentals of the painting has to be strong. The value, the drawing, choosing the right pigment. You can watch my previous videos to understand the value and how to choose the right pigment for the warm skin tone. Here I am going to pick the vermilion with good amount of water and using it as my first wash. I am doing weight on weight technique to achieve a softer look on my eye corset, to avoid any hard lines except the creases of the eye. For the corner, the right corner, which is darker value, I am mixing some cobalt blue with Payne's grey and cad red. And on the right side, I'll be adding a little bit of yellow ochre to balance it out. Since this is a complete imaginary work, so I have a lot of freedom to play with it, to play with the color, with the pigments. But we must remember, whatever color we use or whatever pigments we're using, our value has to be very strong and consistent. One common mistake I have witnessed during my workshop, that people leave the body of the eye white or paint them white. It is maybe the lack of the reading of the subject. It is important that you give a few minutes to your subject and read it carefully, and if you do so, you will certainly notice that the body of the eye is never white. In fact, it works like a reflector. It reflects the light around it. It is influenced by the color of eyeball, the tone of the skin sometimes. And to achieve the softness of the body of the eye, I'll be doing weight on weight technique with very less pigment and more of water, and to avoid any hard lines. While doing the eyeball, I am using the technique weight on dry surface, as the strokes here are defined than the other parts of the eye. The darkest part here is the iris, and I am using Payne's grey with a mix of cobalt blue. Since this is a green eye, I have used sap green and yellow ochre as the base. If you notice, there are a lot of things happening inside the eyeball. There are some prominent direct shadows of the upper lid and of the eyelashes. Since the source of the light is from the left and the right side of the eyeball is having stronger value and complementing the it's complementing the highlighted area of the eyeball. The highlighted area of the eyeball where where the light reflects in the eyeball is the most important part of the eye. This part is the light has the lightest value in the complete eye. Since my approach is impressionistic and I generally do not use masking fluid, so I to save the whiteness, I leave the white area and work around the areas where there are darker values. So it's more like crafting that white, sculpting that white area. This highlighted area is a very important aspect of painting the eye, and trust me, here lies the secret of making the eye talk. It instantly adds life to the painting and creates a depth and dimension. For the eyebrows, we have to be careful about the position. It should not be too up or too down. Instead of using a black direct from my palette, I am using a mixture of Payne's grey and a little bit of burnt umber. I am doing it with layers by layers to create a depth and make the hairs of the eyebrows look more real. On the right corner, I am adding some stronger values. It's more of cad red, Payne's grey and cobalt blue. I'm smudging the hard lines to avoid any hard edges to give it a softer look. Another important and very integrated part of painting eye is painting the waterline. I have seen people skipping it due to the lack of awareness, and mostly they regret that their eye looks kiddish and cartoonish. Waterline gives the eye a proper definition, shape, depth, and it creates a base for painting the eyelashes. I have used a hint of a vermilion as the first layer, and towards the right of the the corner, I have mixed a little bit of blue and Payne's grey to make it to make the value strong. If you take a closer look to my painting, you might want to pause the video and observe it. That between the body of the eye and the waterline, I have left a tiny white line area from left corner to the right corner. I have left that white area while doing the body of the eye and the waterline. You might not understand right now, but once the painting will be finished, you will see that how prominent that tiny line is between the eye body of the eye and the lower lid, the lower waterline, and it has a great impact on the eye, and it makes the eye look more real, adds lot of emotion, depth and dimension to the body of the eye. Also, the body of the eye has lot of things happening inside it. It has, on the upper side, it has the shadow of the upper lid, the shadow, very not very direct, very slight shadow of the eyelashes, not very prominent. And also, uh, mm, adjacent to the eyeball, there is a where the eye highlighted area is, mm, there is a uh, highlighted area in the body of the eye also, if you notice it carefully. The last but not the least are the eyelashes that we have to uh, do to finish the eye. And I have seen with people that they struggle a lot because the eyelashes end up looking like stick coming from the eyes. For the eyelashes, our base has to be very strong. When I'm saying base, I mean the water lines. The waterline makes the eyelashes look more real. Both the waterlines, the upper one and the lower ones, are important. And eyelashes looks really artificial and cartoonish if there is no waterline and it looks like it is coming out from the eyes. So you must be very careful while doing the eye, that you should paint the waterline, and your eyelashes should be coming out from the waterline. Another thing that you need to remember while doing the eyelashes, that eyelashes are not like stick, it's not straight. For the eyelashes you can use a smaller brush that will help you to create or help you to define better. You need to understand the eyelashes are coming out from the waterline. It's not straight, it is curved, and it is going towards the outside. Give yourself some time to understand the direction, the position of the waterline of the eyelashes. If you're doing it from a photo reference, read the photo carefully, and you will understand that all the eyelashes, that is starting from the waterline and going to for the upper lids and going towards the upside, and they are not straight, they are all curved. Even for the lower lid, the process is same. The eyelashes are coming out from the waterline and going down in a curved manner. Also, they are not individual. You can't see every individual eyelashes. They all are in a crisscross manner. You need to paint them in a crisscross manner to make it look more realistic, more lifelike. The eyelashes are separated at the root, and while and overlapping each other while going up for the upper lids and going down for the lower lids. Since the light here is not affecting my eyelashes or the value of my eyelashes, so the overall color is same, and for that I have used mostly Payne's Grey mixed uh, with cobalt blue and little bit of burnt umber. Adding little bit of color to the body of the eyes. As I said, it is never ever white. It always reflects the surrounding colors, the eyelashes, and sometimes the color of the eyeballs. So here are some last few layers I'm adding to create some more depth. You need to remember while doing the body of the eye that all the strokes you are doing, it has to be according to the shape. It is very important to create a lifelike, real looking eye. So we are almost done, and this is how the eye looks right now. Hope you hope you find these tips and techniques helpful. If you have any query or if you want to clear any of your confusion regarding this particular subject, you can write to me at imbayambali@gmail.com. If you want me to cover any specific subject, you can mention at the comment section. I hope this tutorial will be helpful to make your eyes better next time. If you find it helpful, please share it with your friends and do subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching. See you next week.